Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth International Online Conference of Embodied Intelligence, 2024. This is the fourth time we organize this conference, and very glad to see all of you in this conference. There are lots of old friends, new friends in this audience, and I'm very happy to have you all to get this another series of conference started. I just want to give you some brief introduction before starting this very exciting program for next 2.5 days. This is going to be a very short introduction. So first of all, my name is Fumiya Iida. I'm a professor of robotics in the University of Cambridge, and I'm the general chair of this conference. And I'm very happy to welcome you all this conference. So before starting, I just want to give you some practical information about this conference. For those who have attended last year's conference, this is probably already something you already know very well. But there are some basic rules because this is a Zoom conference. So most of the talks in this conference in the main session will be recorded. And our breakout session rooms are not recorded for the purpose of flexible discussions in these rooms. One of the real challenge of this conference is the time differences from all these people around the world. So we try to record as many talks as possible for those who have give us a permission to record. But then as soon as we finish the sessions, then we'll try to upload these recorded videos in our website. So then you can actually watch this even if you miss some of the main sessions in this conference. So we'd like to ask you not to record any of these talks on your end because I think we're going to have some problem with the copyright issues. And again, this is a Zoom conference, so we need to have some responsible behaviors from all the participants. And any of you can actually turn on your microphone anytime, but please do not turn on your microphone until we ask you to do so. It's very important that we keep the order of this conference by using Zoom. So thank you for your cooperation. And then another thing I want to encourage you to join is the Discord channel. As every year, we set up this Discord channel for this conference so that we can have conversations in parallel to the conference. So please do join Discord channel from this QR code in this on the slide, and then you should be able to log in to the Discord channel. You can ask questions, you can have discussions, you can have a separate room for discussion, and you can also advertise your openings or your events in this Discord channel. Then if you have any problem, questions, technical issues, please do post your questions in Discord or send us emails, and we will try to solve this as quick as possible. Okay, so then here is the conference program for next 2.5 days. We have a record high number of presentations in 2.5 days. We have a total of 116 talks. It's going to be a very efficient way learning what's going on in embedded intelligence, but at the same time, it's a little hectic. So please do take time to follow these talks, and then you're obviously free to join or leave the conference anytime. But it's very important to have as many of you as possible for the purpose of discussions. So each day consists of morning session and afternoon session, and we usually start with a plenary talk, and then we have short talks and panel discussions after this. And then every session has some breakout sessions following main session. And there we have a multiple breakout sessions where you can join this session. So we will set up Zoom breakout sessions when the time has come. And then you can join these breakout sessions as you want. We also have a discussion session in the afternoon. So we will have a more consolidated end of the day discussion at the end of the each first day and second day. And this is somewhere I think we're going to ask a panelists to join this final discussion. Okay, so we have 2.5 days, 116 talks, and we have more than 700 registrations in this talk in this conference this year. So I hope you're going to enjoy this conference and with a lot of discussions and making a new friends through this event. And there are so many people behind the scenes. So the main organizers, we have Josie Hughes from EPFL and Veronica, Arsen, Narges, Guijan, and Kai from my own group helping organizing this conference. And if you have any problems, any questions, any concerns, please contact us anytime. And again, we have a Discord channel for any queries and problems that you have. And obviously, we have a lot of other people in the background of a BioInspire Robotics Lab and Create Lab who are helping this workshop. So please do speak out or reach out to one of us for solving these problems you have. Okay, so then this is a very brief introduction of the how the conference is going to go, but I just want to give you a brief introduction of what is embodied intelligence and what is our community doing in the last decade or two. So just to give you a brief history of how this embodied intelligence community started, my career as an event organizer started as a PhD student in 2003. The first workshop on embodied AI in the Dachstuhl Castle in Germany. And every few years, we have been organizing some sort of events and conferences on the topic of embodied intelligence. And the most importantly, in the 2021, this is the time in the middle of a pandemic, we started this embodied intelligence online conference, which was also one of the most successful, biggest events we ever organized online. And because of the success, we decided to continue this online conference every year ever since. So this is the time we have a fourth year, and it's getting more and more difficult to find speakers that don't overlap with the previous events, but we still continue with the same format and the same scale of the event, and hopefully you enjoy this kind of event in this year as well. We are also organizing in-person events in this community in the context of RoboSoft conference. So there's always a debate whether we should do it in-person conference or virtual conference. We decided to continue this conference as an online conference, but then we also have a smaller in-person meetings every year in RoboSoft conference. For those where going, please join this year as well, and I'm going to talk about it in a few minutes. So what's the objective of this community of embodied intelligence? And the real objectives is really about discussing what embodied intelligence is. Embodied intelligence is a very flexible and useful term to share the main ideas of embodiment, but at the same time, there's so many different kind of views, definitions and characterizations and a different way of running experiments and research project. So I think this is the place we can consolidate all the different views and discuss what embodied intelligence, and hopefully this kind of discussion leading to formation of international and the interdisciplinary community, as well as the future collaborations. Embodied intelligence becomes especially very important now in the age of AI and the GPTs. And there's so much interest from all over the world and in many disciplines. What's the role of a physical body? What's the role of embodiment in the context of intelligence research? So I think this is a place where we need to discuss this kind of a very high-level philosophical, conceptual, but also high-impact questions. But most importantly, what's really important in this conference, we try and organize this conference for the purpose of having fun. So I hope everyone enjoy this conference and in the next 2.5 days, and we will have a lot of stimulating discussions about this. So just to set up a foundation of this conference, we just want to start with what is embodied intelligence. It's very difficult to define, but our position is that embodied intelligence is the concept that can bridge the gap between different kind of disciplines. So intelligence research, AI research is not only for computer science or philosophers. We also need all sort of different kind of disciplines, including robotics, engineering, biology, material science, physics, chemistry, neuroscience, cognitive science, and so on. So embodied intelligence is a very useful term to really discuss central ideas of what intelligence is in the context of physical bodies and embodiment. And that is something we want to discuss in this conference. So as you see, there are many different kind of backgrounds in this community, and majority of us are actually engineers in this conference, but we're trying to be friendly as possible to the discipline people from the other disciplines, such as philosophers and other social sciences. So please be reminded that we need the open discussions of this kind. So one way to look at embodied intelligence is kind of in contrast to the computational intelligence. In the 20th century, the field of artificial intelligence has formed, and the mainstream research that time was the computational intelligence, also called the sense, think, act paradigm, that just looking at what brain is doing. A lot of intelligent adaptive behaviors of humans and other animals can be explained in this context of a sense, think, act cycle. And this is also called the GOFI because it's that stands for good old-fashioned AI. That time we have a lot easier discussions about the intelligence because intelligence can be an algorithm, intelligence can be a search process, and so on and so forth. But as we move on with our research project, actually intelligence is not as easy as just an algorithm or information processing, but there are lots of other physical and embodied processes that we need to think about. And this is the time when we started talking about intelligence. There are lots of physical system and the environment interactions that are playing an important role for the intelligent adaptive behaviors. So, and this part is very, very messy, difficult, complex things that we need to investigate. And that is the place where we need a lot of different kind of researchers from different disciplines helping each other. So we wrote this paper in 2007. It's a long time ago in Science magazine. This embodied intelligence is about really understanding ourselves as embodied systems, embodied agents, but also how we make ourselves in intelligent adaptive systems in a self-organizing fashion. So this is probably the most broad definition of embodied intelligence, but we want to somehow move on with this research area for the next generations so that we can include more advanced and recent achievement in this field, and then we want to expand our horizon. One more slide I just want to introduce is a slide borrowed from Rodney Brooks, his recent talks about what AI can and AI cannot do. And as we all know, Rodney Brooks is one of our heroes in this community of embodied intelligence. He has been talking about this in the last 2 or 3 decades. And what he's talking in his presentation is that AI is giving a very significant impact in our society, and AI is actually confusing us, all the embodied intelligence researcher, once again, because AI can do a lot more than what we thought they could do. And what AI can do can be characterized by something like imitation, generation, memorization, and reacting. These kind of functions AI is extremely good at, whereas AI still struggle with innovation, understanding, reasoning, and planning, and so on. So, all the AI researchers, computational intelligence researchers, trying to go from left-hand side to right-hand side as much as possible. And of course, there's no clear borders between these two camps. But I think this is something we, as an embodied intelligence researchers, need to think about. What are the contributions of embodied intelligence to make this transition happening, or from our point of view? So from my point of view, I think the computational intelligence make use of more and more and more data to make AI even more impactful and smarter. But from embodied intelligence point of view, probably our role is making concept theories and the technologies to provide higher quality data rather than more data, but structured by embodiment. And that is one of the interesting questions and topics that we can discuss throughout this conference in the next 2.5 days. So just to give you a little bit about the history of our discussions in Embodied Intelligence Conference, we just want to advertise these proceedings that we published after our previous event. So now we managed to publish 2 proceedings after EI'21 and EI'22. And EI'22 proceedings, we got the 24 new papers, fully open access, and we have contributors from all different kind of disciplines, and not only robotics and computer science, but we have a cognitive science, philosophers, and psychologists. So please do have a look at it, and there are lots of interesting discussion going on in this proceedings. And we are now processing last year proceedings, and hopefully we can finish it in a couple of months. And we also continue with the EI'24 proceedings after this event. So please do think about your contribution to these proceedings to keep our discussions in accessible format in the future. Just to give you the insight of EI'22 proceedings, we had a very interesting discussions about how to do the modeling of embodied intelligence, how to measure the embodied intelligence, or what is the morphological computation, how the physical system can do computation. There are lots of issues about soft robotics, AI, A-Life, how to do the tactile perception, how to do the underwater robots based on embodied intelligence. And then there are lots of philosophical questions. How do we trust our robots? How to do the controlled robots in self-organizing manner? How to evolve embodied intelligence in an open manner? Or how we can think about the environment and the more general medium of our surroundings for the purpose of understanding our embodied intelligence. So there are lots of fundamental, interesting questions in our proceedings. So please do have a look at it, and then we can continue with this discussion in this year conference. And then finally, I also want to advertise this in-person meeting at the RoboSoft 2024 that is happening in San Diego in April this year. And this year, thanks to Nana Obayashi from EPFL, organizing a workshop, in-person workshop on the topic of a democratization of soft robotics through embodied intelligence. And this is an opportunity where we can continue discussion on this embodied intelligence in in-person setup. Okay, so with this, I'd like to start my introduction, and hopefully you get a bit of idea about what the embodied intelligence and why we're organizing this conference. And I wish you enjoy this conference and the stimulating discussions. And once again, if you have any questions, any problems, please feel free to post your question in Discord or send us email. And Discord, we have also opportunity to discuss lots of different kind of things. So please join this Discord channel. Okay, excellent. Then I think this is going to be the end of the introductory session of the conference. And I just want to introduce the program for the day one. So we have a very exciting three plenary speakers, Takao Someya, Silvia Vignolini, and Neil Shubin. So this actually represents the diversity of the background in this community. So we have Takao talking about electronic skin, and Silvia talking about biomimetic materials, and then Neil Shubin talking about the paleontology, how the evolution of animals happened as far as we know. And then we're going to have lots of short talks in between and the breakout session talks. So before breakout session, the Veronica is going to set up a breakout session in the Zoom, so everyone can join one of the breakout sessions on the way. And that's the idea of today's session. Okay, so then I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I will start introducing our first speaker, Professor Takao Someya. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and perhaps Takao, you can start sharing your screen. So this is my great honor to invite Takao. I don't think he needs any introduction, but he has been the pioneer of electronic skins and all sort of new technologies in using a material-based approach to the embodied intelligence from my point of view. And I think he is going to be the perfect first speaker of this year Embodied Intelligence Conference to tell us what's the state of the art of the technologies in electronics and electronic skin in particular, so that we can have more philosophical discussions on top of this kind of state of art technologies. So without any further ado, I think I'm going to hand over the floor to Takao, and could you please turn on your microphone? Can you hear us, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Takao, very welcome to the Embodied Intelligence Conference. Very nice to meet you after a while, and I'm looking very much forward to your presentation.